Hello and welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to use multiple phones and other methods to avoid bookmaker restrictions. Now, the issue of being restricted on bookmakers is something that you will run into when you're a profitable sports bettor. If you're betting event with value and if you are beating the closing line value consistently and making profit, well, you're going to get limited. And this is the biggest issue in sports betting. And to find an edge in sports betting is not actually that hard. There's ton of different tools. The most expensive ones like unabated, pick the odds, spank odds, odds jam, and there's a ton of different tools to become profitable, and all of them are proven methods of doing it. There's value betting, there's arbitrage, there's low hold, there's bonus conversions. But that is the science of sports betting. There's also something called the art of sports betting, and that is being able to network, get accounts, pay for accounts, and essentially finding the most valuable accounts that you can and extracting as much value as possible from these accounts. Now, I have found methods to do this, and I'm obviously not going to give away the exact method to finding these accounts, but if you want accounts that are KYC verified, so ID verified accounts, you can click the link down below. I have a few in stock that I'm not using currently myself. Now, anyways, let's get into it. So I wrote down a couple notes on my phone, and the first one is to keep separate environments. And this is what I meant by showing these different phones. Whether you're betting on online crypto casinos or traditional sportsbooks on online betting apps, you're going to need to use different IPs, different environments, different MAC addresses, different browser fingerprints, and most importantly, if you're betting on your phone, having multiple different phones. It doesn't matter if you delete the app, clear the data, and maybe even change your MAC address. All of the fingerprinting, there's a ton of different other fingerprinting done, like the dimensions of your phone screen. I've actually studied cybersecurity, so I'm maybe more knowledgeable than the average sports bettor about this. There's tons of different ways to track your phone. They track IP, they track geolocation, they even track altitude and multiple other data points. So that is extremely important. That is exactly why you need to use different phones. First of all, that is like the first line of defense to even get the accounts working. Now, the second thing that I wrote down is to don't bet exact amounts. This is something that I started doing after a while and got my accounts restricted. This was a few years ago when I was a complete noob. And first of all, I started flat betting at $5 per bet because I was broke. But then I went up and bet a little bit more, and I saw that, oh, this software is actually recommending me to bet this exact amount, let's say $82.16. Well, it is actually not that wise to max bet or bet exact amounts, because that is a clear sign of being an advantaged sports bettor. And generally, there are sports books that you can check the max bet on, and these are usually the books using BetB as an odds provider. And if you click the max bet and it shows $116.57, and if you try to bet that max amount, it's going to lower the bet size immediately. So that's why you need to lower the bet size initially a little bit under the max bet, so it does not trigger a lowering of those odds. Now, that is kind of like also a very basic point. Don't bet exact amounts. That's how you get caught very quickly. Next thing is you need to mimic Degen behavior, and there are multiple ways to do this. Just put yourself into the perspective of a regular sports bettor or gambler. I do this personally. I'm not going to tell you my exact protocol because it's kind of my own edge, but you can do this by playing parlays, obviously on the sportsbook, and it depends on what sportsbook you're using, because some of them have a risk department that is connected to the casino side, but some have an independent sportsbook odds provider that does the risk management themselves. So some casinos are literally just like a reskin, but they're using the same odds provider. So a different design, same odds as a ton of other different casinos. And if you are betting on only sports there, you're gonna have to throw in parlays and dumb bets. The thing you can do, which is, I think, against the terms of service, but this is a way of engineering losses on your account, and this goes into the mimicking the Degen point. if you can engineer being a losing bettor or a big time losing bettor, so you can negotiate better loss back, rebates, better rake back, and tons of other different benefits. And how do you do this? Well, you go into something like Polymarket and another site, which is your main betting site. You deposit as much as you can, and you essentially do an arbitrage or a hedge on Polymarket when you bet big on this site. That way, maybe you're going to lose 1%, or maybe you'll make 1% in arbitrage. But that way, if you lose on this big bookmaker site, you're going to look like a big loser, and they're going to give you better rates for everything. And that way, you also have more room to become profitable later on by doing value betting. So let's say you consistently get losses of over $10,000 on one account, and you maybe lost 2% or something like that in the process. So maybe you went negative $200. Well, now with $10,000 in losses, you're going to be able to make a couple $1,000s in profits from expected value betting, and being able to wager hundreds of thousands or 100,000 instead of being able to wager only, I don't know, let's say like $15,000 or $10,000 from the beginning of the account. Now those are basically the main ways. Then I wrote down my last point, which is timing, and this is a bit more, I wouldn't say esoteric knowledge, but this is where the art comes in. And this is basically, if you are an account based in Romania, you need to be betting on the average Degen times of Romania, like in the night or in the afternoon. If you have an account based in Japan, you need to optimize for that specific timing of Japanese gamblers. So you cannot really be betting 24/7 using an automated system or something like that. That is a very easy way to get detected. Now, those are my main points. If you are interested in getting accounts and being able to exploit them as much as possible, you can check out the betting accounts shop down below. And I'm also going to leave a link down below to use a betting software that I've been using to make over $900 from the World Cup so far by betting very small amounts. And I'm also going to drop down below a potential like waitlist or something, because I'm launching a betting group soon. So those who don't want to sit in front of their computer 10 hours a day and bet can just place 2 to 3 bets a day from their phone. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to turn this off, and I'll see you in the next one.